In today's video, we're gonna talk about the number one thing that I avoid the most throughout my financial journey: credit card debt. Now don't get me wrong guys, just because I do stay away from credit card debt doesn't mean I stay away from credit cards themselves. I still think that every single person should own a credit card as long as they know how to use it properly. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the 4 main methods I use to avoid credit card debt and exactly what I do to get the best out of my credit cards without paying a single cent in interest. Hi guys, my name is Dennis, and in this channel I talk about personal finance as well as my continuous journey to financial freedom. Did you guys know that consumer debt is the number 1 highest debt in the United States? Well, yeah, me neither until I searched it up. The reason I mention consumer debt is because the biggest part of all consumer debt is actually, you guessed it, credit card debt. Now, if you ask me, that actually makes a lot of sense. This little piece of plastic known as the credit card is the most used tool, whether it be bad or good, in the whole financial industry. I bet you that if you come up to any person in the United States, 18 years of age or older, and ask them to open up their wallet, well, first of all, I hope they don't call the cops on you. But second of all, I bet you're gonna see at least 1 credit card in their wallet. Now I hear you guys asking me, why is that, Dennis? Well, it's because owning a credit card is the most popular way to increase your credit score. The credit score is actually a very important component in every American's life. A person's credit score actually predicts how likely that person is to pay off a loan on time. A high credit score actually means that you are responsible enough to pay off your bills and your loans on time with no problem. And like I mentioned before, the best way to increase your credit score is by first getting some kind of credit card that gives you some kind of reward every time you use it. Secondly, you have to purchase something that you were gonna purchase anyway throughout your daily routine. And thirdly, you're gonna have to pay it off in full and on time, no matter what. And that's it. But I know you guys can already tell from the title of this video, it's not that simple. Americans owe more than a whopping $807 billion of credit card debt across 506 million accounts, which means that the average American family owes more than $6,270 worth of credit card debt. Throughout my beginning years of high school and college, I actually noticed that I was more financially aware than any of my peers. As soon as I turned 18, I applied for my first ever credit card, which made me very excited. I applied for the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, which I think is one of the best cards to own as a beginner, since it gave me a $200 incentive for signing up, plus a 1.5% cash back for any purchase. When I first signed up for this card, I was actually offered a 1.5% cash back on every single purchase. But now this card offers 5% on travel, 3% on drugstores and restaurants, and 1.5% on everything else. Getting this credit card was much easier than I expected. I got accepted within a couple of days, since it really is meant as a beginner credit card. They sent me this credit card within a week and I started using it right away. It's actually been almost 10 years since I've been using this same credit card. But please guys, do me a favor. Before you sign up to any credit card, make sure to watch this video all the way through so that you can avoid credit card debt the same way I am. By the way guys, keep an eye out for a future video where I will share the top 5 credit cards that you should apply for as soon as you turn 18. Anyway, back to the video. The first method that I use to avoid all credit card debt is by far the most important way out of all of them, which is keep a strict budget. When I say strict budget, I mean that you should only buy the things that you were gonna buy anyway, that you absolutely have to buy in order to live. For example, if you were gonna buy an $800 TV with your debit card anyway, why not use a credit card instead to pay for that TV as long as you pay off that credit card right away? With that Chase Freedom Unlimited card, you're gonna get a 1.5% cash back on that $800 TV purchase. This means that you're gonna get a free $12 back on a purchase that you weren't gonna get anything out of otherwise. If you're gonna use your debit card for that $800 purchase that you were gonna make anyway, you're gonna get no cash back. But looking at it from a different angle, if you weren't gonna be able to afford that $800 TV purchase anyway, why purchase it on your credit card and pay up to 36% in interest? I usually only use my credit cards on the things that I have to purchase on a daily basis anyway, like groceries, gas, and other general expenses. I even go as far as to add any bills that I could to my credit card because I'm gonna have to pay them anyway. I might as well use my credit card on the things that I have to pay anyways and get some sweet cash back in return. The last point that I wanna make in this method is to consider the amount of hours hours you have to work in order to pay off some kind of purchase. For example, if you make $20 an hour and you want to buy some kind of shoes that cost $100, this means you're gonna have to work 5 hours to pay off this $100 pair of shoes. You have to ask yourself, is that $100 pair of shoes really worth your 5 hours worth of work? And that doesn't even count your taxes. This leads us to the second method of avoiding credit card debt. Pay off your cards in full and before the due date with no exceptions. As you can clearly tell from the order of these methods, I consider this to be the second most important thing you need to do to avoid credit card debt. Doing this step right will truly determine if you're using your credit cards correctly and reaping the sweet rewards, or if you're just accumulating credit card debt and paying off unnecessary interest. The first thing I'm gonna recommend in this step is actually to pay off your credit cards in full a couple of days before the due date. The best way that I found to do this is to set up reminders and alarms a couple of days before your due date so that you can pay off the credit card in full. And make sure to only check off the reminders or stop the alarms as soon as you pay off the card and not before. Now I know alarms can be annoying, but that's the point of this whole thing. You can only turn off your alarm as soon as you pay off the card. Now if you have multiple credit cards with different due dates, you have two choices. You can either set up the reminders and the alarms to each credit card's due date individually, or you can call your credit card companies and change the due dates so that they all match. Now I definitely prefer the second choice since it allows you to only set up one reminder and one alarm to one due date. Calling your credit card companies to change the due dates will actually help you to remember that due date better. There's one little caveat that I have to mention about method number 2 though. You have to make sure that you have completely mastered method number 1 before moving on to method number 2. If you haven't mastered method number 1, you're gonna find yourself buying random things that you don't need with an over-exaggerated credit card limit that you can't pay off. Doing method number 1 wrong just means you won't have enough money to pay off your credit cards in full. Overall, some people have the tendency of postponing their payments until their due dates, which then makes them realize that they don't have enough money to pay off the cards. If you feel like that might be you, I actually recommend to pay off the credit cards at several times throughout the month so that you can actually see how much money is coming out of your checkings account. This will help you avoid buying unnecessary things that you don't need since you see the money coming out of your account multiple times throughout the month. By the way, if you guys are finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so that you can help spread this video out to more people. Thank you. And now moving on to the third method of avoiding credit card debt. And the third method that I recommend is to avoid annual fee credit cards unless you're in a position to benefit from them. This method is on this list for one reason and one reason alone. If you're currently watching this video, then you're trying to avoid credit card debt, which means you're a beginner in your financial journey, you don't spend a lot of money, and you don't travel a lot. That's why there's simply no need to have a credit card with an annual fee at this moment. Paying unnecessary annual fees on a yearly basis actually puts you in more debt and takes the point out of owning a credit card to begin with. For example, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is a credit card that charges you $95 as an annual fee. They offer you 80,000 points if you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of opening up the account. First of all, not many people that are avoiding credit card debt are able to afford $4,000 worth in the first 3 months of opening up the account. And secondly, not many people that are avoiding credit card debt are able to claim the 80,000 points towards travel like they're offering. Now don't get me wrong, this would be a great card to have if you're planning on traveling a lot during the year. However, for me, I try to avoid this credit card for now. Personally, I currently avoid any credit card that wants to charge me an annual fee whatsoever. I do this right now because I'm a guy who just got out of college and is still unemployed, which means that right now I don't have the time nor the money to use any of the benefits that annual fee credit cards provide for me. But I know that this is gonna change in the next year or two because I'm gonna start spending more money and I'm gonna have the full benefits of these cards. This will give me the opportunity to actually use these credit cards to my advantage when it comes to travel and points. So depending on the current situation that you're in, you should only have annual fee credit cards if you are able to benefit from them. This leads us to the final method of avoiding credit card debt. This last method is a simple method. I recommend to continuously check every single one of your credit card account balances every single week, at least twice a week. Doing this will make sure that you're not exceeding your budget that you set in method number 1. I know you guys could agree, this method is simple but very effective. When I started using my credit cards back when I was 18, I used to check my balances every single week, and I still do that to this day. This allowed me to always know how much money I owe on a weekly basis, as well as if I'm keeping up with my initial budget. Now, the best part of this method is actually that it allowed me to check on my cash back that I was earning every single week, so that I knew exactly how much cash back I'm getting from all of my general expenses. It honestly feels like I'm making free money for every single time I swipe my credit card for simple everyday items like milk and eggs. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you have any credit card debt that you're trying to pay off or avoid? Let me know in the comments down below and I'll reply to you as soon as possible. For those of you who are currently in credit card debt and you're looking to get out of it, the first thing I recommend to do is actually to track all of your credit card debt in one single place. This will help you know exactly how much you still owe so that you stay motivated to pay off your debt. For this exact situation, I created a debt tracker spreadsheet where you can track all of your debts in one place. If you're interested in using my debt tracker spreadsheet that I created, you can click the link down below in the video description, press File, and press Make a Copy to make your own copy of this spreadsheet and track all of your debts in one place. You should also click on this video right here if you're interested to know about my take of whether you should pay off your debt first or invest first. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great day.